Hello and a very warm welcome. Thank you, Pranavi, for joining in. In yesterday's session, we discussed how to be love and beauty. And today, what we are going to talk about is be very expansive from this amazing book, The Power of Intention. And no matter how many times I keep saying, thank you, Pranavi, for introducing this
Oh
book.
my God.
I am absolutely loving to, read it, and it takes me to another space,
Yes.
in this world where we are juggling here and there, doing this and that. This is such a beautiful read just before going to bed that, I love it.
The work happens at a different level, Karishma, especially during the bedtime. It works at a different level. You're exactly right. And thank you so much.
Be ever expansive. The next time you see a garden full of flowers, observe the flowers that are alive and compare them to the flowers that you believe are dead. What's the difference? The dried up, dead leaf flowers are no longer growing, while the alive flowers are indeed still growing. The all emerging universal force that intended you into beingness and commences all life is always growing and perpetually expanding. As with all the seven of these phases of intention, by reason of its universality, it must have a common nature with yours. By being in an ever expanding state and growing intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually, you are identifying with the universal mind. By staying in a state of readiness in which you are not attached to what you used to think or be, and by thinking from the end and staying open to the receiving divine guidance, you abide by the law of growth and are receptive to the power of intention. Right. This is so beautiful, isn't it? Um,
Yes, Karishma.
just the way I was, feeling just before, we have started. I was feeling that, this is such a beautiful book because somebody, texted me at 9:45 that, oh, you have
Mhm.
not sent me a text today. I would love to hear something from you. What are you practicing today?
Oh,
And
lovely.
I am practicing. So yesterday we read God is love and love is God. And I'm practicing every single day. How can we I the love that, you know, it means? And the reply that I received was, do you know the definition of love? And there is a mystic called Mirdad. She asked me, do you know how has he explained love? And I happened to have the book that she was referring to. I quickly, I was sitting on this table only and I was just thinking about this book that we have got into our hands. And I was thinking about all of it. But I told her that I would love to hear from her because she is the one who keeps on asking me and I want to, get back something beautiful as well.
Hmm.
So while she was writing, I was, reading in the book and it said that if you love a flower on a branch, how can you not love the branch? And if you are loving the branch, how can't you love the trunk? And if you're loving the trunk, how can you avoid loving the soil, the roots, and everything that comes along with it?
True.
Love is expansive.
Expansive. Lovely.
You cannot not love anything by the Creator if you're practicing love. Even if you are, if you do not like somebody, if even if you do not feel anything about anyone,
Hmm.
is also going away from love. And when I read that, what she wrote this sentence, and while I was reading that, I was like, oh my God, that's deep.
True.
Because is thinking of it as I need to love everything, everything, everything. It's so much easier, right? But if somebody throws this at me, do you do not like somebody? I'll think about it. And then somebody asks me, do you feel nothing when you see somebody? That is even more deeper. And then it will be like, you're still not loving because
Yes,
you love them as well.
true.
And that is expansive. Pranavi, would you like to add something to this?
Um, Nothing much, Karishma, but then in my I mean, when I was in yoga training, my director used to tell that it's not your communication skills, nor knowledge, nor the depth subject of yoga. You should know how to handle people with love, because every person has their own baggage of stress or tension or whatever. But when they come to your place, you should know how to heal them with love. And everyone, I mean any trainer would have knowledge about the subject. Any trainer would, can go to the depth of the subject. But generally, as humans, when they approach you, they would expect that they would get healed. And as their, I mean, every woman has their own issues. When they come out of the house, you should give that healing, cozy love vibrations. That is the way to catch them bonded with your emotion and love. So never feel proud that you have every, I mean, you know every each and every point in the field of yoga. That is nowhere compared to this. That comes at the secondary, but the primary thing is you should know how to, express and percolate love into each and every human being. So few days consciously I worked on that. Like while giving the feedback or while correcting them, I usually use lot of love words. I'll never handle them in a rough sense. But then that kind of language has slowly worked on me. And it's these days it's I'm unknowingly applying to each and every person who comes across me, like including my husband and including my children. Today evening when I asked him to get for the work, he said, no, I'm watching this TV channel. I told, this is an internet, it's based on internet. Again, after 20 minutes you can do it, darling, can you please come? But I mean, in the mornings I use this kind of language. And I never knew that I would spread the same language to my give the same language to my husband and my kids as well. So I thought that this is somewhere related to ever expansive. The more, you know, you put a conscious thing that you would express love or anything, it works at a different level unconsciously, Karishma. So I don't know how far this is, it's been related
This
to
is this
this.
is this is so beautiful that you have shared, and let me share with you on that note that
Mm-hmm.
it's not only one form of service that you're giving. For
Yes,
any kind of service that you give to the world outside and to
yes,
the world inside, if
yes,
you speak with the language of love, that is all that is going to create the magic. People don't buy your products, people buy you. And
yes,
if you can make them feel good about themselves, if you can make them feel loved, if you can make them feel emotionally attached, then you don't have. I think that you need not work on anything, but to start loving.
yes,
Everything is
yes.
going to fall in place magically.
True. That I have experienced personally, Karishma. Before I used to not know all this. I thought becoming a trainer is like you can, I mean, if you have knowledge, it's over. You can express your skills or whatever. But then later I thought, acha, this is a main key point. So yeah, it works. It works and it spreads also.
Most of the people feel when they know a lot, they might feel proud, you know.
Yes. Yes.
And love is not something called proud. It is even more grounding, even more in gratitude, even
Yes.
more in surrenderance.
Yes.
And the more you become that, the universe has a lot of abundance, and he or whatever, whatever it, he, she, whatever it is ready to give so much to you, but you have to tap into it with the soul of yours. And that cleansing is absolutely, necessary to be done every single day. When we do meditation every single day, what are we
Yes.
doing? We're cleansing it every day.
Yes.
Wow.
One of the lady, Karishma, she's around, I guess she's 53 or 54 years. And she dominates a lot in my class. Uh, and the other students, they feel so much annoyed, but then they would expect me to take charge on her. But I don't, Karishma, because the only reason is she has lost her husband at the age of 34, 35, and she has undergone a lot. She has taken the responsibility of the daughter's marriages. And the worst, I can't say it's the worst thing, the saddest thing I can say that the saddest thing is, after finishing her yoga class, again she has to go back to her huge bungalow and she has to stay all alone. So she would definitely be in that frustration stage, Karishma. So I say that she's actually a very courageous lady and she has faced a lot. Let she come and vent out what all frustration she has. And in fact, it's our duty to, at least heal her in that sense. Otherwise, if we also start scolding her, she would be totally blocked at energy levels, also, no, Karishma. So, and they say that, okay, Pranavi, it's acceptable, but this kind of behavior is so hurting to the other person. I said, okay, she's our person only, we'll excuse her. Karke. Of course, I don't excuse the other people, but somewhere I feel that she has lost her life partner and we are so blessed, like at least we're having a company at our home. We need not be in touch with each other, but just one glance, just having one sip of tea, just one talk is more than enough, no, Karishma.
Absolutely.
So I don't know how that poor lady would be facing that vacuum throughout her life.
Right.
And so that's why I'll tell, please show her some kind of pittiness, or I mean, don't take anything personally on her, karke. So
What
then
more
they,
can you do? Pranavi, I would love for you to ponder on what more can you do for her.
yeah, I would, though that's the only thing I can do, Karishma. And then later, um, yeah, she does come. I mean, yesterday also, yeah, I met her in a party. She's a good-hearted lady, but then I don't go much into depth of her because her heart is in a painful condition, and it will be in the painful condition, Karishma. So I should also be prepared in such a way that I need to get detached from her pain. It's not my duty to shift all her energies into my being. For few minutes, I will consciously work on her. I'll consciously try to give some love to her so that in the coming years, I would have the patience to handle her. And as you said, that love could be expanded and it can be applicable to someone else who is in the same sad condition. So, yeah, that is what I was thinking.
Wonderful. Wow.
Yeah,
People are in pain. And
they are correct.
if we do not understand, who else will?
Yeah, at least it's our duty. And this, I feel that this world doesn't need how much educated you are, how rich you are, how beautiful you are. They need that healers around you. So I somewhere feel that it's my duty to heal any person around me. And trust me, when I go for walk, lot of servants, they keep on they keep on venting out so many things, but then I don't utter a single word. I'll just be thankful to my the inner god or my guru that at least they have come to vent out on me, so that few minutes I'll feel little bit comfortable, no, Karishma. And I don't know what my community people would think. They would think that why this lady is so much inquisitive about the other servants and what she's listening and all that. But then I feel that it's my duty to at least listen. Anyhow, I wouldn't solve the issue, but then at least an ear and a shoulder would be enough. No,
Exactly.
Karishma.
So nowadays, we as humans have lost so much of compassion. We are not compassionate about towards ourselves, neither
Yes.
are we compassionate towards others. And that
Yes.
is why we keep on thinking, Arey, mere paas to time nahi hai. Why do I even stand and listen to this tick, 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 tick?
Yes.
मुझे
Yes.
क्या करना है?
Yeah, and that lady, she start. I later she started conversation for out 2 to 3 times. I know that she is beyond that went out stage, and now she wants something sympathy, which is actually not needed. So again, I will just cut off that. Oh yeah, I was like, yeah. I mean, I need to leave something like that. So I mean, the core venting out I can take inside Karishma, but if they try to brood on that situation, no, I will not encourage them.
Yeah.
So, so yeah,
See, there are times when people are too attached to their victimhood as well.
yes, yes. So yeah,
All right. Next point says be abundant. Intention is endlessly abundant. There is no scarcity in the universe, invisible world of spirit. The cosmos itself is without end. How could there be an end to the universe? What would be at the end? A wall? So, how thick is the wall? And what's on the other side of it? As you contemplate connecting to intention, know in your heart that any attitude you have that reflects scarcity, consciousness will hold you back. A reminder here is in order. You must match intentions attributes with your own in order to capitalize on those powers in your life. Abundance is what God's kingdom is about. Imagine God thinking, I can't produce any more oxygen today. I'm too tired. This universe is a big enough already. I think I will erect that wall and bring this expansion thing to a halt. Impossible. You emerge from the consciousness that was and is unlimited. So, what's to prevent you from rejoining that limitless awareness in your own mind and holding on to these pictures regardless of what goes before you? What prevents you in the conditioning you have been exposed to during your life, which you can change today in the next few minutes if you desire? When you shift to an abundance mindset, you repeat to yourself over and over again that you are unlimited because you emanated from the inexhaustible supply of intention. As this picture solidifies, you begin to act on this attitude of bending intent. There is no other possibility. You become what you think about. And as Emerson reminded us, the ancestors to every action is a thought. As these thoughts of plenitude and excessive sufficiency become your way of thinking, the all creating force to which you are always connected will begin to work with you in harmony with your thoughts, just as it works with you in harmony with your thoughts of scarcity. If you think you can't manifest abundance into your life, you will see intention agreeing with it and assisting you in the fulfillment of merger expectations. I seem to have arrived into this world fully connected to the abundance attributes of the spiritual world from which I emanated. As a child growing up in a foster homes, With poverty consciousness all around me, I was the richest kid in the orphanage, so to speak. I always thought I could have money jingling in my pocket. I pictured it there and I consequently acted on that picture. I would collect soda pop bottles, shovel snow, or bag groceries, cut lawns, carry out people's ashes from their coal furnace, clean up yards, paint fences, babysit, deliver newspapers, and on and on. And always, the universal force of abundance worked with me in providing opportunities. A snowstorm was a giant blessing for me. So too were discarded bottles by the side of the road and little old ladies who needed help carrying their groceries to their automobiles. Today, over half a century later, I still have that abundance mentality. I have never been without several jobs at one time throughout many economic slumps over my lifetime. I made large amounts of money as a school teacher by starting a driver education business after school hours. I began a lecture series of Port Washington, New York on Monday evenings for 30 or so uh, local residents to supplement my income as a professor at St. John's University, and that Monday night series became an audience of over 1,000 people in the high school auditorium. Each lecture was tape recorded by the staff member, and those tapes led to the outline for my first book to the public, which was called Your Erroneous Zones. One of the attendees was the wife of a literary agent in New York City who encouraged him to contact me about writing a book. That man, Arthur Pine, became like a father to me and helped me meet my key publishing people in New York. And the same story of unlimited thinking goes on and on. I saw a book from the end becoming a tool for everyone in the country and proceeded to go to every large city in America to tell people about it. The universal spirit has always worked with me in bringing my thoughts of unlimited abundance into my life. The right people would magically appear, the right break would come along. The help I needed would seemingly manifest out of nowhere. And in a sense, I'm still collecting pop bottles, shoveling snow, and carrying out groceries for little old ladies today. My vision hasn't changed, although the playing field is enlarged. It's all about having an inner picture of abundance, thinking in unlimited ways, being open to the guidance that intention provides when you are in a state of rapport with it, and then being in a state of ecstatic gratitude and awe for how this whole thing works. Every time I see a coin on the street, I stop, pick it up, put it into my pocket, and say out loud, "Thank you, God, for this symbol of abundance that keeps flowing into my life." Never once have I asked, "Who only a penny? Why only a penny, God?" I need a lot more than that.
Can I just start reading Karishma because I'm feeling a little drowsy so that I can be a little active?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Here.
Today I arise at 4 a.m. Where is it? Yeah, 4 a.m. with the knowing that my writing will complete what I have already envisioned in the contemplations of my imagination. The writing flows and letters arrive from intentions manifest abundance, urging me to read a particular book or to talk to a unique individual. And I know that it's all working in perfect, abundant unity. The phone rings, and just what I need to hear is resonating in my ear. I get up to get a glass of water, and my eyes fall on a book that's been on my shelf for 20 years, but this time I compel to pick it up. I open it, and once again, being, directed by Spirit's willingness to assist and guide me as long as I stay in harmony with it. It goes on, and I'm reminded of Jalauddin's Rumi's poetic words from 800 years ago: sell your cleverness and purchase bewilderment.
Wow. This is such a beautiful, um, thing that we have just read about, um, you know, be abundant. What
Yes,
I understand is, even while we were reading the book, The Power of Subconscious Mind, whatever you believe, whatever you think is going to manifest in your life. That is that is like okay, period.
true.
And it is so magical that if you have an intent, that I want to do this, and I have also experienced it, and that's why I can say it so, with firm faith.
Assertiveness, yes.
Yes, that um if I feel that I want to do something, I don't know how, so automatically somebody would reach out to me talking about the same topic, or else actually, I have more than 100 books in my bookshelf, and I would pick the book that I actually need to read at that point in time. And today only I was, how I was telling you, Pranavi, I was sitting on this table only and I was thinking about love and all and this and that, and I had a chat with this lady. And the other book that came into my hand was this: Be the Love
Wow.
You Seek.
Be the, just a moment. Yeah, be the
How
action.
to Be the Love You Seek.
How to be
I
the.
have
Oh.
not even opened this book for once. And I'm
Mhm.
like, oh my God, this again is coming into my hand here. I
Oh,
will
oh,
sit and read.
lovely.
And how we keep on seeking love from here and there. And if this book is teaching about that, how to be the love you seek, wouldn't it be such a beautiful read? Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
So, yeah,
So it
be
is
receptive.
how it is.
The universal mind is ready to respond to anyone who recognizes their true relationship to it. It will reproduce whatever conception of itself you impress upon. In other words, it's receptive to all who remain in harmony with it and stay in a relationship of reverence for it. The issues become a question of your receptivity to the power of intention. Stay connected and know you will receive all that this power is capable of offering. Take it on by yourself as separate from the universal mind, an impossibility but nevertheless a strong belief of ego, and you remain eternally disconnected. The nature of the universal mind is peaceful. It is not receptive to force or violence. It works in its own time and rhythm, allowing everything to emanate by and by. It is in no hurry because it's outside of time. It's always in the eternal now. Try getting down on your hands and knees and hurrying along a tiny tomato plant sprout. Universal Spirit is at work peacefully, and your attempts to rush it or tug new life into full creative flower will destroy the entire process. Being receptive means allowing your senior partner to handle your life for you. I accept the guidance and assistance of the same force that created me. Oh, that screen is gone. Just a moment.
Here, I let go of
Yeah,
my
I
ego.
let go of my ego and I trust in this wisdom to move at its own peaceful pace. I repeat, being receptive means you're allowing your senior partner to handle your life for you. I accept the guidance and assistance of the same force that created me. I let go of my ego and I trust in the wisdom to move at its own peaceful pace. I make no demands on it. This is how the all creating field of intention creates. This is how you must think in order to reconnect to your source. You practice meditation because it allows you to receive the inner knowing of making conscious contact with God. By being peaceful, quiet, and receptive, you pattern yourself in the image of God and you regain the power of your source. That is what this chapter and indeed this entire book is all about. That is, tapping into the essence of originating spirit, evaluating the attributes of creative force of intention, and manifesting into your life anything that you desire. Oh, is it the same? Yeah. That's consistent with the universal mind, which is creativity, kindness, love, beauty, expansion, abundance, and peaceful receptivity. A
Perfect.
beautiful woman, yeah, yeah, it's really lovely, Karishma. A beautiful woman born in India in 1923, named Sri Mataji Nirmala Devi, arrived here on earth in a fully realized state and lived in the ashram of Mahatma Gandhi, who often consulted her on spiritual questions. She spent her life working for peace and discovered a simple method through which all people can receive their self realization. She teaches Sahaja Yoga and has never charged for this instruction. She emphasizes the following points, which are a perfect summary on this chapter on connecting to intention. You cannot know the meaning of your life until you are connected to the power that created you. You are not this body, you are not this mind, you are the spirit. This is the greatest truth. You have to know your spirit, for without knowing your spirit, you cannot know the truth. Meditation is the only way you can grow. There is no other way out because when you meditate, you are in silence, you are in thoughtless awareness. Then the growth of awareness takes place. Connect to the power that created you. Know that you are that power, commune with that power intimately, and meditate to allow the growth of awareness to take place. A great summary indeed from a fully realized being, no less.
Neeta, do you want to share anything?
No, Krishna.
Could you understand what is being talked about? Because you entered the room in the middle of what we were reading.
It's talking about spirit that we can manifest anything from to our spirit, right? But I am feeling little freaky also in between.
Do you want to read the next 5 suggestions of implementing the ideas in this chapter?
Mm, okay,
नींद खुल जाएगी ना
okay.
थोड़ी सी.
Actually, when everyone is sleeping.
Okay.
Okay, I will start with it. 5 suggestions for implementing the ideas of this chapter. To realize your desires, match them with your inner peace. Keep all inner talk focused on good reports and good results. Your inner speech mirrors your imagination. And next one, Penny.
Imagination is your connecting link to spirit. If your inner speech is in conflict with your desires, your inner voice will win. So, if you match desires with inner speech, those desires will ultimately be realized. That is so true. This is what we have been discussing in one of the morning sessions that I attend every single day. That there is this, conscious and the subconscious mind. In your conscious mind says you want to win this, you want to have this thing, you want to have this thing, but at the subconscious level you keep on saying, पर कैसे होगा, this is so difficult, how you do not have this, you do not have that, all the limiting beliefs that are in the subconscious. Till your subconscious does not start talking your conscious language, it is not going to happen. What is going to happen? The reality is going to be whatever your subconscious is talking. So, your heart, your mind, your soul has to be aligned for you to manifest anything in your life. think from the end. This is assume within yourself the feeling of the wish being fulfilled and keep this vision regardless of the obstacles that emerge. Eventually, you will act on this end thinking, and the spirit of creation will collaborate with you. When you have the end in your mind, you will feel, that it can be fulfilled. And when you have the feeling that it can be fulfilled, that is when your subconscious is actually aligning with the conscious. And then it will come to the creation. And जब हमारा दोनों चीज aligned होगी, then only the creative powers are going to work along with us. To reach a state of impeccability, you need to practice unbending intent. This will match you up. This will match up with the unbending intent of all creative universal mind. For example, if I set out to write a book, I keep a solid picture of the complete book in my mind and I refuse to let that intention disappear. There is nothing that can keep me from that intention being fulfilled. Some say that I have great discipline, but I know otherwise. My unbending intention won't allow for anything but its completion to be expressed. I am pushed, prodded, and propelled, and finally, almost mystically attracted to my writing space. All waking and sleeping thoughts are focused on this picture, and I never lack for being in the state of awe at how it all comes together. Some of the mentors, that is why they keep on telling you, write your goals every single day. When you write your goal every single day, it imprints in our mind. And when it gets imprinted in our mind starts giving us ideas. It starts giving us, opportunities and everything, so that everything starts aligning. I still remember I started writing a book last month, and there was a time when I could not even sleep. As soon as I would try to, go back to sleep, all the ideas would start, banging in my head. Tuck, 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 tuck. And I was like, oh my God, stop, man, I want to sleep. And then I would sit up, I would write down all the ideas that were coming to my head, and then I would go back to sleep again. So that is how the universal, energies actually work for you and with you. When your intent is clear, when you know you want to do something, it will give you multiple sources, resources, ideas, opportunities, everything. I wanted to write a book since I don't know when, because I wanted to dedicate a book to my kids before I pass away from this place. And what I used to do was whatever came to my heart and soul, I would write it there, anywhere, somewhere. And it was all, either udhar, sab jagah scattered. And one of the days, one of my mentors, asked, do you want to write a book? How many of you want to write a book? And I was like, हाँ, मुझको भी लिखनी है, let me. And I went there. First 3 weeks, I did not understand kya karna hai. And all of a sudden, my daughter talks to me and she tells me about the movie she has seen. And she shares with me that I want you to make some movies for us, some videos for us. And I'm like, why? I'm not dying right now. And then that, came back to my mind. Oh my God, I also wanted to write something for my daughters, right? Before I pass away from them. Let this be the topic. Let relationships be the topic, and let me write whatever my heart wants to tell my daughters about relationships. And then the
Lovely.
idea started generating. So she became the source. The coach came in as a source. And my writings here and there, I then sat, I spent 2-3 days collecting. ये वाली book में भी लिखा हुआ है, ये वाली में भी लिखा हुआ है. Everything is on my table now here. कि अभी मेरे को यहाँ से छांटना है, ये इस टॉपिक, ये इस टॉपिक, ये इस टॉपिक, ये इस टॉपिक में जाएगा. That is how actually universe works for you, with you, if you have an unbending intent. Point number 4 says copy the 7 faces of intention on 3x5 cards. Have them laminated and place them on crucial locations that you must look at each day. They will serve as reminders for you to stay in fellowship with the originating script. You want a relationship of camaraderie to exist with intention. The 7 reminders strategically placed around your living and working environment will do that just for you. Arey wah, that is a good idea, isn't it? Maybe we can just make a wallpaper or for our phone. Maybe we can do that for our, laptop screens. कि जब भी वो off on होगी, you will get, are these things you are living up to? If not, then how do you expect the universe to work for you and with you? Point number 5 says, always keep the thought of God's abundance in mind. If any other thought comes, replace it with that of God's abundance. Remind yourself every day that the universe can't be miserly, sorry. It can't be wanting. It holds nothing but abundance. Or as Saint Paul stated so perfectly, God is able to provide you with every blessing in abundance. Repeat these ideas on abundance until they radiate as your inner truth. This concludes the steps for connecting to intention. But before you make this somersault into the inconceivable, I urge you to examine any and all self-imposed obstacles that need to be challenged and eradicated as you work anew at living and breathing this power of intention that was placed in your heart before the heart was even formed. As William Penn puts it, those people who are not governed by God will be ruled by tyrants. Remember as you read on that those tyrants are often the self-imposed roadblocks of your lower self at work. Isn't that beautiful? Chalo, wow, wonderful. We have 4 people in the room. Hello, Mamta. Thank you for joining in. Good evening, ladies. Are we sleeping?
No.
All right, let's hear it from you, Pranavi. What would you like to conclude this chapter with?
I mean, in short, my takeaway is like he is asking you to correct your inner language, because inner language should always be in vibe with the universe. Then only the channel of abundance would flow into us. Then the second thing is you should always go and think the end of it, and imagine that at the end that particular goal is being already achieved. So in this way you are giving the signal to the universe that you're very much happy and vibrant because your goal is being achieved. So that's again a positive sign sending to the universe. And indirectly, you're saying thank you also because you're very happy that your end is being executed already. So, yeah,
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that.
yeah. The other takeaways, though, I didn't. I mean, I focused, but then I'm not able to express it. That's it.
Mamta is saying, I don't feel like to talk today. Will write all intentions in front of me. 7 faces. Mamta, हमने ऐसा क्या किया आपके साथ that you don't feel like talking? आज सुबह से ही ऐसा ही है. तभी तो बोल रही हूँ, open up your camera and talk to us so that you sleep better. No, please. Let's go to others. No, we don't want you to go in Amazon. We want you to share with all your heart and soul if you wish. Right? And if you feel like, you can call me and we can talk to the phone as well. I'm happy to see you. अच्छा एक smile तो दिखा दो. ये बात. Love. सब बहुत सारा love 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 दे दो ममता को. I think she needs some love. Love 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 love. हाँ ये गया. God bless you. All right. Anita, do you want to say something? Do you want to share something before we end this chapter?
No,
No. What is your massive takeaway?
I'm just listening. Right now, I will go to the chapter once by my own. Then I can share.
I didn't understand. Your voice was not very clear.
I'm saying that I was feeling little sleepy and I was just listening. And I need to go to the chapter by my own.
Okay. No worries.
Right?
Take your time and go through it once again. I've shared the
Yes.
PDF in the group. You can, get it from there. Tomorrow, we will be stepping into chapter number 4, which talks about obstacles to connecting to intention. Wouldn't it be so beautiful to understand what are the obstacles on the way? अभी तक तो सब रोजी रोजी लग रहा है ना, beautiful beautiful. Now let's
Yes,
get into, what is going to happen.
true.
All right. Take good care of yourself, ladies. God bless you all. Sleep well
Yeah.
and wake up happier tomorrow.
Good night and have a nice, cool sleep.
Thank
And
you.
bye bye.